I am tired of John Thune's and I said it. Okay, I'm tired of the excuses. I'm tired of the explanations. And I'm really tired of watching the Senate Majority Leader stand in front of the American people and describe what he can't do, especially when it's his job, like he's some innocent bystander watching all of this happen. John Thune's latest excuse on the SAVE Act is that he can't count to 50 right now on a budget resolution. He says the priority has to be funding the government first. That means holding up the reconciliation package that can move the SAVE Act forward. Can't count to 50. John, this is your job. You're the Senate Majority Leader, not a reporter covering the Senate. You're not standing outside the building giving us a weather update. You're the man who's supposed to get the votes. Okay? I'm not saying the votes and the rules in the Senate don't matter. I'm not saying budget reconciliation is easy. I'm saying that leadership is what you do when the process is difficult. And you remember a couple of months back when you begged the president to become the Senate Majority Leader? And he helped you out. Now it's your turn. Anybody can lead when everybody agrees, John. Anybody can walk into the Senate floor after the votes are secured and take credit. The entire reason you have a majority leadership is to organize the conference, build support, apply pressure, negotiate, get the votes. That's your job. So stop telling us you don't have 50. Tell us why. Who are you missing? Which Republican senators won't support the budget resolution? What senators won't support the Save America Act? Name them. Put their names on a board and let the American people know exactly who is standing in the way. Because I can't count to 50 protects everybody. Senators refusing to commit, it protects you from having to confront them. It guarantees that we never know who's responsible. And that's failure management, not leadership. And unfortunately, that's what Washington has become incredibly good at. Not solving problems, managing failures, spreading the blame around, hiding behind procedures. They want to wait until the American people lose interest. That's what this is about. I've already covered this numerous times, all the excuses. We've walked through the filibuster argument. We've covered the FISA. We've covered the reasons that Thune says he can't make this happen. I'm done grading the excuses. At some point, the outcome is the only thing that matters. Did you pass the bill or didn't you? Did you secure the votes or didn't you? Did you fight for President Trump's agenda or did you explain why somebody else made it impossible? Because that's where we are. The House passed its defense bill 216 to 212 with Save America attached. 6 Democrats voted for the bill, and we had 7 Republicans vote against it. The Senate process is not automatic. I know that. The legislation's not in its final form, but the House took the vote and put its members on the record. And that's what accountability is like. People voted. We know the result. We know who supported it. We know who opposed it. If you compare that to the Senate, well, they can't count to 50. Okay, whatever. Do it. Show us the count. Can't keep giving us an invisible group of unnamed Republican senators with an excuse for doing nothing. What's the plan? Okay? We're going to have conversations is not a plan. This is what Washington has been doing for decades, having conversations. They have conversations while the border remains open. They have had conversations while debt climbs. They've had conversation while spending bills grow to thousands of pages. They have conversations when the legislation that voters actually think matters gets buried underneath some new emergency. You got to get the damn votes. Even Steve Scalise, okay, is saying that these guys should be able to walk and chew gum. The House moved the budget framework and government funding the same week. John Kennedy's coming out now, but Thune wants us to believe that securing the election and funding the government have to somehow be mutually exclusive. Gives no reason why, just because he said so. Because It's more convenient to deal with one fight at a time. What are we doing here? I mean, this country doesn't have to stop having problems because John Thune would prefer to handle them one at a time. Working Americans don't get that luxury. We go to work. Our boss doesn't care that 3 other things landed on our desk. You still have a job to get done. If you're running a project and you don't have the people you need, you don't walk into the meeting and say, well, I can't count enough to 8 or 10. So yeah, I can't do these things today. No, you identify your gap, you find out what's holding things up, who's holding things up, and you get those things fixed. And if somebody refuses to do the job, you hold them accountable. That's how the real world works. But Congress has built this entire culture around avoiding momentum. Nobody's ever responsible. The timing was bad. The process was complicated. The parliamentarian might object. Democrats won't cooperate. Votes aren't there. Government had to be funded. Always a reason. But somehow, every one of those reasons produce the exact same result. Nothing happens. Save America Act doesn't move. Republican senators don't have to take a difficult vote. John Thune doesn't have to expose division inside of his own conference. And the American people are told to wait. That's the part that pisses me off. Republicans like John Thune campaigned on securing our elections. President Trump has made this his priority. The House has now moved the legislation through multiple times through multiple vehicles. Republican voters have called. We've written. We've demanded action. What more does this guy need? Better calendar? More convenient deadline? All this is rhetorical, I know. But politics is conflict. Leadership means winning enough of those conflicts to deliver. And John Thune seems to be under the impression his job is to protect the institution from pressure. No. His job is to use the institution to relieve pressure by delivering the agenda that voters elected Republicans to pass. John Thune, man. What a tool bag. Put the legislation on the floor, man. Force the issue. Make these guys vote. Use every piece of leverage you have. Because if you don't, we're going to have big problems in November, and you know that. Stop protecting people. Stop protecting yourself. Stop hiding. Stop hiding. And stay off Fox News, man. You're a disgrace.
Is that JR? Yes. But we love you, JR. Thank you very much. Thank you, man. This guy, he's a genius. Thank you, JR. Really nice.